Welcome to Recovery Recreation. I'm your host, Susie Lordy. I'm also the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit here in Massachusetts called 24 Hour Power, Inc. And we do something called Recovery Graffiti, which is an art form all over the state of Massachusetts. And what happened was people were coming up to us at some of our events and they were saying things like, Susie, there's nothing fun going on around here. Now, we know that's not true, but we also decided we better make it our mission to go out there and hunt down stories, to let them know what's fun, what's healthy, what's exciting, and best of all, what's sober that they can do in Massachusetts. So please, don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. Joining us today is the City of Brockton's Mayor, Mayor Robert F. Sullivan. Mayor Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us today on Recovery Recreation Television.
Susie, thank you so much for having me on your show once again. It was experience. The first time was unbelievable, and I'm really honored that you're having me on again for a second showing.
Oh, my heart. How has COVID-19 changed how you operate the City of Brockton?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I took office January 6th of 2020, and I had a lot of plans, and it's all about working together for a better Brockton. And then 6 weeks later, we're dealing with a worldwide pandemic. It's changed everything. It's changed us physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. But one thing that I've learned during this experience is that we're better together. So working with organizations, working with partners, working with religious pastors, we need to continue to work together for a healthy, safe community. It's one thing that I've learned, and again, I served 14 years as a city councilor at large, and, you have to be a good listener to be a good, effective leader. And so I listen to the experts. I also, rely on partnering, like with 24 Hour Power, to make a difference and, trying to help the youth, which is really the next generation. My title, Susie, is Mayor of the City of Brockton, and it's an honor and privilege. It's the place that I grew up and my wife grew up, but my biggest job is being a dad to 3 kids and to be a husband. So, to try to do everything that we can do to help the citizens and the business owners in the City of Brockton, we have to make a difference now for the next generation, and that's the youth in the City of Champions and neighboring communities. So I applaud you and your team and your efforts. You're saving lives, and as Mayor of Brockton, I would not be doing my job as mayor if I didn't embrace myself with folks that have the same common purpose, which is a healthy, safe City of Brockton.
Well, what I think is very exciting is to see you on Facebook Live, giving your updates and letting everybody know what's going on. That's a big deal. Can you let people know when that happens?
Yeah, no, thank you. So I have I don't have people that work for me. I've said that on day one. It's a great team. I have a really great group of folks that work in the mayor's office, but we're a team, and we are utilizing social media to the max. In terms of Facebook Live, and every Monday I do a Mayor's Monday. I take 2 questions that get emailed from constituents and answer those questions. And social media, I'm 51, right? So growing up in Brockton, I didn't have a computer. It didn't even exist, but that's the new normal, right? So to utilize every opportunity to get the message out. Our city website actually has been recognized by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We do the daily dashboard every day when it comes to COVID-19, and Dr. Rick Herman, my medical consultant that I hired as soon as the pandemic hit Brockton, and Dr. Eno Monteso, who heads up our Board of Health. So I think, social media, thank you for bringing that up. I think social media is something that is important to educate and inform, and it also can be fun. Every Friday at 11 o'clock, I do reading. I do 2 books every single week for the Brockton Public Library for the children, and I've been doing that for well over a year and a half now.
During the pandemic, what are some of the initiatives that you've taken to guide the city?
Yeah, no, I think, I needed to do executive orders right off the bat, right? So I set a curfew, closed parks, closed certain establishments. Some of my friends are still mad at me when I closed the gyms. But I did it out of abundance of caution to protect the citizens of Brockton and those that visit Brockton. And, at the end of the day, some of the other initiatives, early on, I created a Zoom every single day with our hospitals and with the VA hospital and with Father Bill's Mainspring and with High Point and with Brockton Neighborhood Health Center. twice a week with the nursing homes and with the pastors because their reach is so much farther than mine. It's about sharing ideas, talking about best practices. Working with Superintendent Mike Thomas every single day from the Brockton Public Schools, and I worked extremely well with Omari Walker, who heads up the New Heights Charter School, and Dan Hodes of Carmel Spellman, and Lewis Lopes over at Southeastern Regional Vocational, which a lot of people don't know this, but 65% of the kids that go there are from the city of Brockton. So it's all about it's true, and it's a wonderful education, and it's a real career path over there. So my view was, listen, I'm not medically trained, but I have a law degree and an MBA, so I understand law and business, but I don't understand medicine. So it's about trying to figure out what are the protocols that we need to put in place. And, some of them were ahead of the curve, like Superintendent Thomas and I closed the Brockton Public Schools before the governor closed schools in the Commonwealth. And, it's doing things that make a difference. And, unfortunately, it can't make everybody happy, but to make sure that Brockton can flourish, one thing I did not do, other mayors in Massachusetts did, they closed construction. They halted construction. In Brockton, I said, we can't do that. We have a nice train going down the track. Let's keep construction going, keep the jobs going, do it in a safe way, social distance, mask wearing. And you know what? If you go down downtown Brockton right now, there's more cranes and new buildings than ever. So we have to keep doing it. And the biggest thing, Susie, and I love the fact that you and I have formed a really good friendship and relationship because, being mayor, you have to reach out to everybody or you're not doing the job right.
Mayor, what are the Health Equity Task Force and Wellness teams? I'm sure a lot of our viewers aren't familiar with them.
Yeah, Brockton is such a beautiful, diverse community. It's what makes Brockton, right? And I knew when we were looking at the numbers that a lot of folks that were coming down with COVID were our residents of color, and we needed to make sure that everyone had access and fair access to healthcare. And so I created a health equity task force coming out of the mayor's office, invited elected officials and residents to participate. And, we had someone from the Mass Nurses Association, we had some pastors on the call. And then off of that, John Messier in my office, who's Director of Constituent Services and Community Outreach, we came up with an idea to also root off that, like a tree rooting its branches, the Wellness Trust Team. And we have some wonderful nurses that are out now. And really, Susie, the whole purpose was to give information about COVID safety standards, do it in multiple languages. It was English and Spanish and Haitian Creole and Cape Verde Creole, and going into the businesses and educating, informing, and working hand in hand with our Board of Health here in Brockton, working hand in hand with DPH, Department of Public Health, on the state level. And then the Wellness Trust Team, they're out there right now going to homebound people, and we were bringing food deliveries, and it was a partnership with the Charity Guild located on Main Street in Brockton. So I kept saying this. I said, listen, it's all hands on deck. We just have to keep going, eyes on the prize. We need to continue. So those were two examples of really successful endeavors that we were able to, form here in the mayor's office, and then they sprouted off. And I can look you in the eye right now and say, those save lives, those endeavors save lives. And to this day, they continue, and unfortunately, they'll continue in the near future because COVID's not going away.
Absolutely. No, but it's good to know that we have this to fall back on. These are all wonderful initiatives. Now I want to get to the fun part for me, which is the collaboration between the mayor's office, the Brockton Public School System, 24 Hour Power Inc., and Master Graffiti Artists for Recovery, and Brockton Youth, where we were all able to come together and collaborate on really a landmark event, which is the Diversity and Inclusion Mural at the old Howard School, 837 North Main Street in Brockton. Let's talk about that, Mayor Sullivan.
Yeah, let's talk about that because, you have to go see it to believe it. It was a wonderful partnership, collaboration, as you said, and really a shared vision for a mural that is much needed and is just beautiful. And the Howard School has been offline for a long time. The schools had given it back to the city under a few mayors ago. And so when it was brought to my attention, I said, yeah, you should utilize that. It's up on North Main Street. It's on Howard Street, North Main. The mural is just, it's beautiful. The artists should be applauded. And at the end of the day, it's about working together with a common purpose. And the common purpose was to be able to, number one, have engagement with local artists, have a mission statement, which is to educate and inform, and have a finished product that everybody can be proud of. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage everybody to drive up there at the Howard School, and you'll be awestruck because it's beautiful. And I'm just so thankful, Susie, for your leadership and friendship, because, you know, it was a lot of hard work, and I don't minimize that. A lot of time, a lot of hours, but it's been well worth it, and it's beautiful.
And a lot of kids.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of kids
Yes.
getting involved in it. So it's so exciting. And that's what I'd like to touch upon now is, how do you feel that the youth, right, that were there expressing themselves through diversity and inclusion artwork as a whole, how will that help to open the minds of Brocktonians, do you think?
I think it's extremely important to be able to have the next generation, right, the youth in the city, share with us old people, right? I'm not speaking for you, Susie, me. Speak to how they envision the current situation in the future, and what their ideas are, what their goals and dreams are. It's all about working together. And with the unfortunate brutal murder of George Floyd, I created a community justice task force to address police reform, but also housing inequities and financial inequities and healthcare inequities. So to be able to have, and it was an all group of youth, right? It was boys and girls. It was awesome for them to be able to come together and really do a depiction, multiple depictions of what they believe, what they feel, really what they hope for. Is as an adult and as a lifelong Brocktonian, I'm proud. I also can say that the next generation, we're going to be in good hands. These boys and girls are dedicated to having a better society, and we're listening and learning from them. They have a lot to offer, and so the artistic endeavors that they are able to portray on an old school building speaks volumes. And I was just proud to be able to witness it, right? It was like witnessing history. And again, I say kudos and congratulations to everybody involved. And, we'll do it again. We won't, it's not one and done here in the city. Yeah, we'll do it again.
And we love doing it in multiple languages because we're representing where all these kids came from, and it's just, it's a thing that when you pull up to that light, you can't miss it. Okay. And you're always stopped at that light on North Main Street. I don't care which direction you're coming from. And you are going to absolutely be floored when you see this. It really is. It's a testimony to an awesome partnership with the city of Brockton, the Brockton Public Schools, and our little tiny nonprofit. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a huge honor for us to be able to collaborate with you in such a grand fashion, and to have such an incredible message out there. So we're very grateful, Mayor Sullivan, for all your support. And before we go, I would just like to know if you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers.
Yeah, I really do, Susie. First of all, I want to thank you for what you do on a daily basis. You're a very kind person that wants to help others, right? And much like being an elected official, we're in the people business. We want to help people. And it's every type of person that we want to help. And so I will say that if you're right now in recovery, I applaud you. And I know with COVID, it's created a lot of challenges, a lot of temptation to folks because of being isolated. I have a lot of friends that have been tempted, and some have fallen off that endeavor. So stay the course. If you need any type of guidance, support, it's out there. It's out there without question. And then I just want to speak directly to the youth. COVID has changed all of us. When Susie and I grew up, we didn't have to do remote learning, and we didn't miss proms, and we didn't miss band and drama and sporting events. So know that we're proud of each and every one of you. And if you are a Brocktonian, or if you're going to visit the City of Champions, please take the time to drive up and look at the mural. It won't disappoint you. It is awesome. So Susie, thank you and your team for what you do every day to better the city of Brockton and the Commonwealth as a whole.
Thank you, Mayor Sullivan, for coming on our show once again. You always bring so much to the table, and it's just a real honor to be able to interview you. So thank you so much. And I know you're extremely busy, so I'm going to let you run. And I'm going to tell my viewers to stick around because we're going to be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Recovery Recreation. I'm still your host, Susie Lordy. Don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. Now we have two master graffiti artists with us that are here to describe the power behind their passion. And it's really awesome. So please let me introduce you first to Jay Mack and Swerve One. And they are a team, folks, and they are awesome graffiti writers. And we're fortunate to be able to work with them. So on that note, thanks so much for joining us, you guys.
Thank you for having us,
Thanks
Susie.
for having us, Susie.
We're going to take it one at a time. Jay, where are you from? Then Swerve One, you're up next. We're going to figure out where you're from.
As a child, I grew up in Malden, and then as I got older, I moved around into a bunch of different areas like Chelsea and East Boston. But overall, when people ask, I say that North Shore, right outside of Boston. Swerve
One, what about you?
Representing Providence, Rhode Island.
Right on. How long have you guys been painting together?
Years.
Yeah, I met Swerve in right around 2006, and we've been painting since then. And then in the last, probably 6-7 years or so, we've really started to become known more as like a duo because we happen to click mentally with ideas and our style of painting.
Swerve One, what would you say your specialty is when it comes to graffiti writing?
Basically, at this point right now, I've been into more or less like kind of the illustrations, sitting down and kind of honing my skills. First and foremost, when it comes to being a writer, is you have to have a hand style. That's most important. And then it's just, at this point, my arsenal, working on a lot of different projects with Jay, and we're just trying to put things together that are promoting a positive impact on the community and on our surroundings.
As a graffiti writer, honestly, it still keeps me young at heart, and I still love any form of graffiti. Like he said, like a hand style. So anyone that's watching that doesn't understand what that terminology is, that's the basic aspect. Like when I was skateboarding as a kid, just learning how to take a marker and just write your name. And that actually takes skill to do it the right way. But I love, anything from the hand style aspect to, doing like a canvas. You see, that's a current project I'm doing behind me, which a huge passion of mine is also sneakers and fashion. So that's why you see the sneaker related, painting. And I think my favorite thing now as an artist, and like I said, it's going to keep going back to why me and Swerve do so much work together now, is because we both get excited off just the idea of an artwork project. Okay. Like, there's not many people I can call up and have this color scheme or an idea laid out and say, yo, check this out, and then be just as excited as me. But yet me and him do that with each other.
I'll tell you one thing. I was blown away by your Be Grateful project. Swerve One, how did that all start?
We had talked about working on a wall in Nashua, New Hampshire, and how we wanted to start utilizing phrasing more than just going out and doing pieces. And when I say pieces, it's just basically displaying our name with style. And this was something where he thought it had much more impact, and he wanted to impact the recovery community, just the community in general. I don't want to sound redundant about impacting the community, but that's really what it meant. It had to do with being grateful for everything that you either face or that you're conquering. So it was a great project that Jay actually put together and had the mindset to kind of say, hey, listen, this is something, be grateful. So, if he could also add in on that as well.
Jay, wasn't this near where the veterans are as well?
The location, when I first moved to Nashua, what me and Swerve had done is they have a free wall up here where you're just allowed to paint.
Wow.
And what we did right off the rip, we hadn't seen each other in 2 years, so we started formulating all these ideas that we were sitting on. And once we executed them, it made a lot of noise in a good way in the community of Nashua. So I reached out to some people that have some connections as far as getting some locations to do other murals. And that's one of the other cool things as a graffiti writer, because it is a competitive nature, and me and Swerve both see eye to eye with stuff like this. So when we came out and did this idea that we wanted to do, it created a buzz. And basically some people hit me up on Facebook and were like, you guys clearly aren't from around here. But it was in a good way. They could,
right.
And I made a connection with the guy, shout out to Tom Lopez and Manny for Positive Street Art. And they got me the location across from the Veterans Home on Water Street in Nashua. And I am in recovery. I'm a recovery coach. I'm a behavioral tech. I also oversee a lot of the men's houses in the Nashua area. So my impact with artwork, I wanted to take to a different level and mix it with recovery. And it's something that Swerve was interested in as well. I said, we're both in our 40s, okay? And we've been doing this for a long time. And as artists and just people in general with having a skill set of a passion of painting, you need to do stuff to stay interested in that. I came up with the Be Grateful project, and I also wanted to get clients from the treatment center and give them the option to stand in front of it and say what they're grateful for. Well, because the aspect of being a graffiti writer, and Swerve can relate with this, we've spent years just writing our name. You're getting your name up. I've been in trouble over the years. I was in and out of the system as a young kid, okay? And now I still do that, but now it's to reach others and show them that they have a voice too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of positivity in your work, absolutely. That's what attracted me to you. And I want to hear now about what happened with this Porsche dealership, this car that you got. I can't even believe you were able to graffiti a car. I mean, and a car of that stature, that's unreal.
So the background story with Porsche, it's actually, this is a perfect example of everything happens for a reason. I had just completed 4 pieces for a salon. Sedalia, she's the marketing director for Porsche and BMW and Benz. And she was getting her hair done and saw all these brand new canvases that I had done and was like, who painted those? I need to meet that guy. And I got in contact with her. She said she wanted to do a live event where I'm going to need you to spray paint on a Porsche and we want a floral pattern. And I couldn't, my jaw hit the floor, but I couldn't believe that she said that. So I called Swerve right away and I'm like, yo, Porsche wants me to paint a floral design. And I go to the Porsche dealership to meet. So they show me the Porsche I'm going to paint. My best friend from 8th and 9th grade is the GM for Porsche, and we haven't seen each other in 25 years.
Wow.
So the best part about it is they really wanted an authentic graffiti writer. So he gave them all these background stories of like, dude, Jay's been doing this since he was 14, 15 years old.
Jay, you definitely have a colored past, and you do a lot of work in a lot of different areas. Swerve, what are some of your other interests besides graffiti writing?
Well, number one, first and foremost, obviously, is my family, all the love and everything in the world to them. But I've been involved in the hip hop scene in Rhode Island for years since I was a kid. I collect vinyl. If you look behind me and all this area, this is all of the stuff that I've accrued throughout the years. And I just think that the documentation of what goes on and the true root of what happens with hip hop. I don't even like terming it that at this point anymore because I feel like the term is just overused. Aside with being a writer, also just kind of keeping everything that is hip hop orientated has kept me involved in the community within doing a radio show, running my own record label, hosting shows throughout the Providence area. Just keeping involved with the community and keeping involved with trying to show people the right path. One of my main passions is just kind of trying to hand it down, you know? And I think a project like this is a great way to do it. So
you both teamed up with 24 Hour Power and with the city of Brockton and with the Brockton public school systems. You want to talk about some heavy hitters. They all got together with you guys and the Brockton youth. I mean, over 50 kids wanted to paint this thing there. This is pretty huge. And it's a diversity and inclusion mural.
Amazing. It's amazing.
And it's at the old Howard School, which is located at 837 North Main Street in Brockton. And anybody that sat at that light knows there's nothing to do but look around. And wait till you look and see this building, man. You are going to be blown away. The different languages, the multicultural aspect to it, the community vibe, it's all there.
I, for the longest time, have said that I had always wanted to do a project where basically you sketch out a wall and then you have kids fill it in, right? But to let kids do that and then we come in with the finishing touches to finalize it and bring it all in together. And watching all these kids, I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I loved coloring as a kid. I just never stopped. I'm 41 years old and now I color on buildings, right? Most kids, society shuts that down at some point in life. Every kid colored. Every every person in the household had some point, little Johnny or Katie had a painting or something art-wise on a fridge, even if it looked horrible and it wasn't colored in the lines, right? Every house that I can remember going in has a kid that painted. But somewhere along the line, society tells a kid to stop doing that because you can't go anywhere in life doing that. And I'm here to tell you, as an addict in recovery that works in recovery, I teach an art therapy class, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I tell people. One, if you have an interest in something, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. And the thing that my favorite part about this project that we just did is a lot of those kids see art. A lot of those kids want to aspire to be an artist, right? So to be able to be there and do it with one of my best friends and let kids basically just be kids, that's part of their community for the rest of the time they're living there. And they helped paint that mural.
When we watch these kids and we watch their faces light up and a spark happened, that you know that they took pride in what they were doing. You know, they were excited to be a part of this project. And that to me, and I'm sure to Jay, I know to Jay, because we talked about it. It just, that's something that, you know, that's important. And to put that towards the youth and to make the youth feel that way right now, or anybody. I mean, it would really be anyone, to someone that's gonna, like you said, pull up to the light and see that wall, to invoke some kind of feeling in them that gives them like a positive, especially kids. There's nothing that beats that. And I appreciate the opportunity that's been given to us to do that.
Well, and we're grateful that we got you guys to do this, because believe me, these are big topics to handle with kids. Diversity, inclusion, that's a landmark event for the city of Brockton. This is the first time they've ever done a diversity and inclusion mural in the city. You guys pulled this off as the lead artists on it. And we'll be forever grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. What's
the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to see more of your work, or if they want to get in touch with you to do, say, maybe a commission gig?
Swerve 142. That's my Instagram, and then you can just message me on there.
People can mainly get in touch with me through my Facebook, which my name on there is JMac, JAYMAC. And then also through my Instagram, which is the Baxter, THE_BACKSTAH. We're more than ready to paint whatever you got coming our way.
Absolutely. We see your talent and we appreciate it tremendously. And that's a wrap for this edition of Recovery Recreation. So on behalf of our staff here at Recovery Rec, we wish all of you a very happy and healthy October. And don't forget, you can definitely have fun sober. You just got to hang out with us more. So until next time, peace out.